Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Monday the 30th of October 2017. Just before we get started, the UK put its clocks back an hour over the weekend. The US don't do theirs until this next weekend, so we need to adjust for this by putting the times back by an hour. Starting off with the pound, you will need to go to 5.35 and then 14.30 and then left click on apply. To change this, you will also need to reload the chart as well for this to take effect. I'm not going to do that at the moment because obviously that will change the signals from Friday. Then you'll need to do the same in the Dow as well. Settings, primary trade times. We need to go to 1:30 or 13:35, 15:30, 17:30 and 19:30, and I'm left going to click on apply there as well, but this time it has actually changed this one. It didn't in the pound, but it has here. So the signals are out on the Dow as you look at this chart prior to me actually changing this. Let me just put it back, but that's what you need to do. So I must remember to change that after. There you go. So you can see what difference it makes by switching that hour there. So make sure you do that, and then also make sure that you click on File and save the workspace as well. Like I say, I'll change these after I've recorded the market alert. So going back to the pound for Friday, moving lower, stuck in the sideways range, and the reason for this is if we look at the daily chart, you can see that we've got a range-bound market here, stuck between 276% retracements. And this will hold the market until it can find something that will make it either move to the upside or the downside. At the moment we're closer to the downside target than we are the upside, and of course this market waiting for all or any Brexit news in order to move it. And speaking of news, a lot of European news out this morning, and then we've got the US news out, which will be at 12:30 for this week, main news, because obviously it's normally 1:30, but we're back an hour, so watch for this. Keep it in mind. Nothing really major, all medium impact, so nothing really to move the markets. Nothing outside of the 1:30 kickoff we're going to get this week either. In the Dow, well, sideways, as I've warned the last few weeks, it's not really worth being in there at the moment, because unless you're actually a buyer of the market and you're on the long side in a positional trading situation, the market is just stuck in a bit of a range. You can see how we had a bit of a move off the 23,350 level through the 23,400 level, which is here, the red line, and then the markets just became sideways, and that's how it's been on the overnight as well. Nothing really moving this market at the moment. And here you can see why we have a bit of a consolidation phase going on at the moment. You can see there that the market is trading in a sideways range, also stuck at the 76% retracement as well. The only difference here is that we've got what's looks like in old technical analysis parlance, a ascending triangle. The market generally breaks out to the upside on one of these, and it will continue to move sharply higher when it does break out. So that's what we've got as far as the markets are concerned. There's very quiet, no news, and the big one this week is the FOMC meeting on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Well, actually it will be 6 p.m. this week, obviously, because the clocks are back by an hour. So a quick look at the implied volatility before we conclude today's look at the market. And a bit of normality here, and I think that's because we've got the Fed meeting this week. The sort of the sweat's off from having got through all of last week. The market sideways, even on the day when it sold off 200 points beforehand, before the main session, and then managed to rally back. We've gone back to a normal situation here where we've dropped from 1041 to the 933, which is how it should be if the underlying market's moving higher, the implied volatility moving lower. So this is actually indicating that the market at the moment is quite happy to wait to see what the Fed does on Wednesday. Unless there's any surprises, the rates will remain unchanged. It's December that's going to be important, because that will see whether the Fed is going to raise rates or not in their live meeting. And at the moment it points, all indicators are pointing that this will be the case. Part of their so-called normalization program, getting rid of the Fed balance sheet and raising rates back to where they should be. Well, they should never have gone down in the first place, but that's another subject and another story. Right, that will do it for this one. Reporting if there's anything, but expect really the market to remain sideways and quiet as the market waits for the Fed's decision on interest rates this coming Wednesday at 6 p.m. and that's GMT. Right, that's it. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.